So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast, and with today being the pillar of happiness and our focus this week on the notion of giving and receiving. Today, my question is, what is your no? And you might be wondering, well, George, how does no relate to happiness? And I would have you consider that each of us has a calling. And you might have heard the phrase, for example, soul purpose. For me, I always thought it both strange and incredible that out of 7 or 8 billion of us on this planet, each of us has this unique fingerprint that no one else possesses. And the meaning I choose to give to that is that there is something I can offer the world that only I can offer. And that whatever you may believe in, my perception is that there is a great love that flows through all things. And of course, many different traditions would call it different things, different names. And that in a world that is so exquisitely balanced, ecosystems so exquisitely interconnected, and some scientists, of course, suggesting that if we change the temperatures of these ecosystems just a couple of degrees, all hell will break loose. And so in a world that is so incredibly intricate and finely balanced and underpinned by, whether you want to call it 0-point energy or just the great love that flows through all things and is the creator of all things, well, it put you and I here with a unique fingerprint. And the meaning I give to that is that there is something this great love wishes me to be a vehicle and vessel for. That there are things that only my voice can speak. And before we veer off into accusations of Messiah complex, no, this is each of us. And I shared some lines in a poem the other day that when you seek to serve others as you serve yourself, the universe decides that your best way to help is to live what you love without compromise or doubt, because your greatest joy is your greatest clout. And that is really for me what this is all about. For many years I've been a deep student of synergy, the concept of synergy, and a professor called Peter Corning has done some amazing work, Klaus Jaffe as well. You can look those two folk up on YouTube. Done some amazing work in making the case that this world does not work without synergy being the underlying concept, that principle of creating something which is greater than the sum of its parts, of doing more with less. And of course we look at nature and we see that these ecosystems are indeed creating something that is greater than the sum of their parts. And in all of this then, our most potent contribution, the part that we can offer so that we create something greater than the sum of all our parts, is our greatest joy. Is a heart that is lit up with love. And the question we began with was, what's your no? And so to come to this then is to say, actually, in this world where I would seek to be my most loving self and to give the greatest love that I can give, to know what is not okay for you, to actually know what is the love you choose to take a stand for, what is that spiritual, that soul purpose. At the core of all happiness, I believe, is that question. And the great Indian mystic, Sri Aurobindo, I remember reading a quote from him where he said, he was asked by one of his devotees, like, oh, how do I find my purpose? And Sri Aurobindo replied, first, find God, and God will reveal your purpose. And in a video I made the other day, I talked about this idea of, are you willing to be shepherded? To actually recognize that you are here in co-creation with the great love that flows through all things. And from that perspective then, to ask yourself what is your greatest joy and to take a step towards that, knowing that you will be supported to take a leap. And of course, to do this, we must know what is a no. What is not in alignment with our greatest joy, our greatest love? What is not the kinds of values and visions that we would see in the world, so that we can actually take a step towards that which we would see, that which we would be a part of creating, that which we would give our love and our gifts to creating. So, perhaps I leave you with two questions. What are some of your no's? What are the things that you do not choose to be aligned with and that actually are not okay for you? And on the flip side, what is the love you choose to take a stand for? What is the joy, the passion, the vitality you choose to walk towards? Knowing you are co-creating with a force greater than any of us could put into words, that knows your greatest joy and knows your path, and asks only that you take a step upon that path, the only step that you can clearly see, and you take it with all your heart and all your love. All right.